We'll start today talking about Team USA and the World Cup. We've got a game going on here over PLG's shoulder that is at halftime right now. England and the
Democratic Republic of Congo.
Democratic Republic, not the Dominican Republic, the Democratic Republic of the Congo.
I stumbled on it too a minute ago
at halftime
because I wanted to say the same thing.
A 1-0 Congolese lead over England in that match.
Yes.
So we'll keep tabs on that, but obviously what everybody's looking forward to this evening, at least here in the States, Team USA facing Bosnia and Herzegovina in the round of 32. A real opportunity for this American team to build on the momentum that they created in the group stage, because this is a Bosnia team that, if they play to their optimum level, the U.S. should be able to beat.
Yes, I agree. I mean, so they're, 61st in the world right now, according to the FIBA's rankings. We're up in the top 15. So on paper, we should, take care of business. But as you've seen in the last couple of days, there are countries getting got. Germany got upset in penalties. Japan was up on Brazil for a long time before they had to come back. So don't sleep on Bosnia. I mean, we have to take care of business. But, the thing that I would say optimistic about in hearing Pochettino talking in his presser yesterday is that he's just not letting this team enter that mindset of looking forward to the next game, and they are simply looking at this game and saying this is a World Cup final. That's how they're treating it. That's how they treated Paraguay. That's how they treated Australia in all the friendlies leading up, and they're solely looking at this team right now. We have to beat them first before we can move forward. So I'm excited. It's going to be a very, very I think a lot of people are going to tune into this match. They've been getting like millions and millions and millions of viewers, like growing every match that's gone down the road. So I'm excited.
Yeah. Are you a USA fan, by the way?
No? My hat, did I give it away?
I bought this a year ago.
Are we talking about the soccer team or the country, though? Like, there's a difference lately.
Give your takes on that.
The one thing that maybe helps, though, relative to, like you're talking about, hey, Germany got. We're talking about England
could potentially get got
at halftime. Paraguay is 34th in the world rankings. Congo is 35th in the world rankings.
Yeah.
Bosnia is 61st. Like, if the U.S. gets got tonight, that's really bad.
It would be very, very, very bad.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
That'd be
no, I was just going to say that, we beat a pair of guys. Paraguay. Get it? Get it? Anybody got a dad joke for the guy here? No one? Nobody?
Listen. We work on a show where Andrew Seeley is at that desk on the regular. There are worse jokes that have been made in the history of this show.
He would have gone back and forth.
He would have. Yeah. He would have. Yeah, no,
He's probably sitting at home in Plano right now like, dude, what the heck?
He's like, they like that? They don't like what I say? The first match that we played against Paraguay was electric. Obviously, we were offensively, scoring.
Yeah.
It was just an explosion of goals. An explosion of goals. And, clearly when we beat Australia, I think, again, we started off hot and didn't let up, and obviously held them scoreless.
Yeah.
Turkey, guys are resting. We had some time to afford for folks to hit the bench if they needed to. We pulled a couple of guys in, I think, when we were getting it close toward the end.
I think some guys got some valuable minutes, too.
Yeah.
If they get used later on down the road.
But that's the great position to be in when you're in, this, obviously when you're about to win the group stage is, hey, we don't have to play everybody. We're good with some of the guys who are not starters.
Yeah.
We can kind of give Turkey a little bit of a run even with those guys.
Yeah.
And then not only that, you come close to winning at the very end, if not for a late goal.
Yeah.
And so, obviously the Bosnian tier here is what I would put us maybe in the top 16 of teams. If we don't make the 16, I would be disappointed. I would say Bosnia is below that in the next tier, of the 32, which that's where we're in right now.
Yeah.
And so, it's a favorable place to be. You'd want to be in this place if you're Team USA.
They are beneficiaries of the new expanded playoff and the fact that they got through by beating Qatar, who is arguably worse than
just
that.
about as bad.
Just about as bad as they are.
And they're 59th in the world rankings.
And then scrapping a draw against Canada, they got the 3 points they needed to advance in the third place spot, and one of the last third place spots too.
Yeah.
So we should.
They
on
are
paper,
not the lowest ranked team in the field.
Okay.
There is Cabo Verde
Yes.
is 64th. Ghana is 65th. They both have games upcoming against Argentina and Colombia, respectively, on Friday. And I think that's the bottom of the barrel in the round of 32.
But I mean, shout out to them for even obviously Cabo Verde is probably the biggest story in the World Cup,
right?
Yeah.
And then having to go against the Goliath defending champion Argentina, that's a match that I'm super excited to watch for too.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, can you dethrone the champs?
Could you imagine if they go to penalty? If Ozinha keeps a clean
With the
sheet,
way- yeah, with the
0-0
way that Ozinha
draw,
has- yeah.
and they go to penalties or something, and then it's a crapshoot from that point.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be top tier theater.
I think if the USA gets past this, and then we can get because we would play Senegal
or Belgium,
or
one of the winner of that game.
and that's going to be a much tougher Belgium specifically. Well, Senegal's good too.
Yeah, they're top 15 as well.
Yeah. So if you could get past that, if the USA team somehow finished 8 in the group,
Senegal
of 8,
is currently 18.
okay.
Yeah.
So they would
but they
be close
dropped
to us.
from 15 to 18.
Because
Just in the
these
last-
rankings are live too. So I mean,
Right.
So
this is not the official pre-World Cup rankings.
Who's
What you're
ranking
seeing
us?
now. This
FIFA?
is
Yes,
the
correct.
official FIFA
Okay.
Coca-Cola Men's World Rankings. Because apparently Coca-Cola
Take note.
is
Take
a
note.
sponsor that they're cool with letting everybody say and talk about.
Of course.
Everybody else, you shall not pass.
Where are we?
The U.S. is at 15, up
Okay.
2 from 17 pre-World Cup.
they kind of
So
teeter
they're-
between 14 and 18.
Okay.
Depending on
We do?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
In the last year and a half or so,
Okay.
depending on the results. I mean, they come out less frequently prior to the World Cup. They made it live right before the World Cup so that they could do this where you do a knockout round and
Right.
then you can raise them or lower them. But yeah, but we've been a top 15-ish team for the last World Cup cycle.
Sure.
Belgium's ranked 10th, but they have not really played to that paper so far
Exactly.
Right.
in the tournament.
Which is why I think that Senegal could beat them in the knockout stage.
So obviously that bracket would have to be settled, and then Portugal
Yeah.
and Spain would likely meet each other
If they win theirs,
if they
yes.
survive.
That would be their round of 16
Which
game.
means we wouldn't play them until we beat Belgium or Senegal. But I mean,
Correct.
I just think our path. I don't know
It
what we
lays
did
out-
to grease the wheels here, but we're in a good position.
It's definitely one of the better paths than other nations.
Well, and I think just look at the way that the tournament was set up. I think they laid it out very intentionally. If, it wasn't just always going to be, hey, the U.S. and Mexico and Canada are going to have easy paths through the tournament. But I think what they may have done is said, if you take care of business and win your group,
you get
then
to,
you
get
will.
to stay in Mexico. You get to stay
Yeah,
in Canada.
right. It's
You get
favorable.
to stay on the West Coast in the United States.
Is that common,
Yes.
by the way, in World Cup?
Uh,
Play?
kind of. I mean,
Ish.
Because we were mentioning something about, I think Mexico, the last time they went the distance was when they were playing in Mexico,
yeah,
correct?
Yeah, but I mean, they were the sole host nation in that. The only time there's ever been more than one host nation was 2002 when it was South Korea and Japan together.
Interesting.
And so this is the first ever tri nation, or a whole continent,
Right.
doing it. And then the other piece of it is that you don't have to deal with as many time zones in these other countries. Like Qatar, we did it a story on it last in that World Cup where the entire nation of where the stadiums were was smaller than DFW.
Yeah.
And so as far as travel goes. And so you don't have to deal with, going from the West Coast to the East Coast or whatever, hot in Mexico and, all that kind of thing. So, I mean, it's definitely, I don't know, it would be a lot harder to win in this World Cup than in years past.
That's interesting. I just felt like the host countries get a little bit of a...
But to Mike's point, they did kind of give the host nations a out. If you take care of business, then you have a easier path, quote unquote, in terms of just where you go.
Yeah. You look
Now,
good in that
Mexico's
jersey,
opponent
man.
wasn't all that. They had Ecuador,
Oh, no, see,
but they
I mean-
handled business just fine last night.
They did.
So.
Yeah. I was going to say, you look good in that jersey.
You look at that.
Hey,
jersey.
man. Team USA
Do
playing
you like
tonight?
America?
Hell yeah, damn right I do.
Did
Let's
we just
go.
become best friends?
Yep.
Do you want to go do karate in the garage?
Yes. Of course. Why wouldn't I?
To that end, though, because we've got some good video out of Mexico.
Yes.
Because
Oh, it's
they
incredible.
were
The reaction to it is the
absolutely
VO11.
elated last night to win that match and finally win as England just rung it off the side of the net. Still 1-0.
Okay.
Look at
Look
this
at this
scene
in Mexico City.
We showed this earlier this morning on Daybreak, and one thing I had a question about was where is anyone watching the match? It's just like
That's a good
it looks
question.
like a massive parade, and it's like where would you
Are they
even
just
be
all
able
on their
to
phones?
watch? I guess I have no idea.
I saw one picture of this scene where they do have at least one big screen
I think
monitor.
there's a projector on like a stage or something.
But I think this is also after, right? Like this is
Yes,
the
this
scene
is-
after
this is
the
the
game
scene after
had
they won.
ended, and they're
Okay.
all just celebrating. The sobering part about all of this, though, is that 3 people died in the middle of all of this.
Yeah,
had
we
not
learned that this
heard
morning.
that.
Yeah,
Because we were both like, "Hey, did you see how cool this scene was?" And I went to Google it. And,
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
What, were
Okay.
they, like trampled? Is
yeah, it was like that kind of situation.
Oh my
unfortunately.
gosh, that's
Awful.
terrible.
Awful.
But there's a lot of people there that were pumped. I mean, it was an electric scene for Mexico.
And it looked like that everywhere. Like Guadalajara was the same
Mm-hmm.
thing. Over at Sundance Square, I saw they had a lot of people
Same
out.
thing at FIFA Fan Fest.
FIFA Fan Fest. All the Mexico games
Mexico
has been selling out.
Listen, I'm going to say this. I don't want to poop on FIFA Fan Fest, but that is like basically going to see a concert, and then they just have like 3 projectors there on the stage.
But people are going nuts over
But people
that.
are going nuts for
Yeah.
that. And I remember we were out there, and I was like, you're going to pay $15 for a beer, probably
Yeah.
a lot of money for food, and then there's it's not air conditioned either.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I don't really see people taking advantage of this opportunity. But it is a cool place to watch with your friends and family and countrymen.
Yeah.
If you are rooting on your team, and Mexico has shown out.
I think of all the from what I've seen, all the different nations that have gone to these FIFA Fan Fests, that's the one fan base that has packed it out the most.
Yeah.
I think were you there for the England when England was playing?
No. I was not. I mean, clearly I saw a lot of the footage, and England travels
Very well.
and thirsty. They definitely like to drink and cause problems.
Mike is mesmerized.
Okay, so 2 things.
Oh.
One.
What a save!
I do not know how to say this gentleman's name because we've had this on mute all morning as we've been getting prepared for the show
Yeah.
and obviously doing the show. So I have not heard the announcers say this guy's name.
talking about
the
the goalkeeper?
Yes.
for the Democratic
Republic
Republic
of
of the
Congo.
Congo.
Yes.
Lionel Mapasi is my best guess at it, or maybe the M is silent and it's just Posse. Regardless, he's having his Vozinium moment right
Yes.
now.
Yeah.
This dude is going off. He
He
made
just got
another
kicked.
ridiculous save.
His own guy just tried to kick the ball out of the goal, and he was like in the middle of it, and he just took a full shin
It's
to his hands.
ridiculous what he's doing right now. Is he up to 4 saves? I think that was his 4th save.
England is trying. They are trying very hard.
putting the pressure on.
They're putting a lot of pressure in.
This is the exact situation that I'm afraid of with the United States.
Yes.
Don't jinx us right now, Paul.
I'm telling you, this entire World Cup, they have been up and up early. They've been the first to score.
That's your biggest worry is that we've been up.
Yeah, in every single
What
game.
happens when we go down?
If we go down early 1-0, what happens then?
Yeah.
Because the pressure's on. You're supposed to be murdering this team on paper, by all accounts.
Yeah.
And stuff happens in the World Cup. Like there's been multiple games where the team that's favored has gone down early. Brazil answered. We'll see if England does. But Germany could not. And I'm just afraid if we go down to this Bosnian team, will we be able to respond?
I feel like the unpredictability of the World Cup is incredibly fun. It is theatrical.
So I think if the United States scores first, I think it's wrapped. I think they're gonna walk them.
Okay, so should we do predictions?
We can. I mean, I don't know. We can do that later, or now. I don't
Only
know.
if you're an animal.
Yes.
Oh yes, let's get to that. What number do we have to?
Do
call
we want to
up
start?
here?
Wait, do we want to start with the corgi or the dachshund? You guys.
Okay, I'm unfamiliar
This
with
is kind of
this.
your.
Which one would you
ballpark,
rather
so
do
where
first?
do you want to
Okay,
go?
we're gonna start with the corgi because it's my second favorite.
Okay.
And we'll end with my favorite.
We're gonna build.
We're gonna build to it.
I'm so confused.
This is what Eric Corgi made it.
Eric
It's-
Corgi's prediction for tonight.
Okay.
Yeah, so
That's
this
a
is
miss.
This is Eric Corgi.
Based off of the athleticism of a very weak, small dog that probably wouldn't survive a dog
So they're
park.
doing. You've got to spell win.
You got to spell win. It's like
Which I don't really. I don't know. I don't really like that. But.
but not the.
Oh!
Okay, all right.
So what does that mean? What is that? what does that
USA
entail?
advances.
Okay.
According to
How
your
right
corgi.
has
the
this
corgi
corgi
says
been?
the U.S. wins.
I do not have
The stats
numbers, the
for
stats
this World Cup
on whether
it was very good with the Spurs for
Yeah.
a long time.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I don't have the stats on how successful the corgi has been, but I do have stats on how successful Elfie the
dachshund.
dachshund has been.
Okay.
Elfie.
Elfie
Elfie
the
the
dachshund.
dachshund.
Do we have dachshund footage?
We do.
Oh,
So
see, but this is
was
like a
yesterday.
Plinko version.
This is yesterday's slate. Elfie the dachshund is currently 4 for 6 in
That's
her picks.
Terrible, but
But-
okay.
Yes. Yesterday
4 for
went
6?
Yesterday went 3 for 3.
3 for 3.
And
Okay.
these are today's picks.
She's picking Senegal. Here's the U.S.
Boom.
Picking the
All right.
U.S. This one, when I saw this morning, she's picking
England.
England.
So wrong so far.
Okay, well, the dachshund says us, and the corgi says us. So I think we're riding pretty high.
It's a good sign.
We have the canine population behind us. It's on our backs as we go into Santa Clara.
We have 100% of the canine vote.
Yeah, correct.
Good sign.
We don't need to recount.
I also saw a video earlier
Stop the
today
count.
of a cat. They wanted a cat to pick. And it was a
Oh, yeah.
giant plate of cat food for England and a plate with one piece of food on it
Okay.
for the
Little
Congo. And the cat
it-
picked the Congo.
Oh, so if the Congolese team wins, maybe we have to start bringing this cat into the conversation.
Yeah. Instead of the dogs.
Yeah.
All nimbly pimbly.
Going in nimbly pimbly. Is that what his name is?
I don't know. That was a
Nimbly pimbly.
it was
Nimbly
actually a
pimbly.
Saturday Night Live Will Ferrell doing
Oh, you're
Harry
right.
Carey.
Oh, nimbly pimbly. Okay, yeah. I got it. You think I'm a cat? No, that's a Super Troopers reference.
No, it's also
Yeah.
that's Super Troopers. What I said
Yeah.
was
Nimbly pimbly. It's when he's at the window and he keeps saying meow. What do you think? I'm a cat? I'm going from thing to thing, all
This is
nimbly
all
pimbly.
going over my head.
It's okay. I've been throwing out references all morning that no one's gotten.
License and registration.
Yeah. Meow. Am I saying
I'm already pulled
meow?
over. I can't pull over any further.
Littering and.
you guys want to talk about Messi
There are
and Mbappe?
certain punchlines I don't think we can finish on the
I'm going to
air.
try to change
We've been
this.
talking
You guys-
about Kohler Guard, but
The
we
only
can't go
super
any
I have
further.
in here that we haven't talked about yet is
Is
Mbappe
Messi.
and Messi. You guys want to talk about it?
So I mean, yesterday Mbappe scored and got to one behind Messi. Messi's at 19 goals now, and Mbappe he's nipping on his heels, I would say, and he's got 19 or 18, I should say.
Okay.
And much less games. He's obviously a lot younger. This is probably Messi's last World Cup. Mbappe's probably got 1 or 2 left, so he's definitely going to pass him. But I'm excited to see if it happens in this World Cup. 'Cause,
Could it? I mean, it could.
You know,
Depends on who goes deeper, probably.
That's what I think it is. Is that it's a matter of who plays more games, because I think they're both either going to score a goal or get a brace in each of these games, and it'll be a very tight race. But I'm excited to see if Mbappe can pass him, and I think it's going to motivate Messi too to try to keep that going.
I mean, give me some context here. What did Messi begin with? Because that hat trick really helped him.
I think at the start of the World, he's got 6 this World Cup, so he would
13?
He was at 13.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I want to say Mbappe has 5 in this World Cup, so he was at 12.
Yeah.
Wait, so now it's 17 to
It's 18.
19?
It's 18 and 19.
18 and what?
Yes.
Wait, I thought it was.
Okay, I did not know
18
that.
to
Context is
Yeah, because
is
Mbappe
important.
scored yesterday. He was at 17.
So maybe they were both at 13 then.
I guess yes, that's what it is.
Okay.
They were both at
Okay.
13 going in, and then he broke the record first here in Dallas.
Okay.
and
Yes, I
then-
remember that.
And then later on in the same day, Mbappe also passed Klose.
wow. So if
Miroslav.
let's say
Miroslav
let's say
Klose.
Messi didn't score a goal that day where he broke the record, would Mbappe then have the record now, or would he be one away?
He would be 1 away because I think he scored.
That's remarkable.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But the thing is he's done it in about half the games, which is the craziest part.
Yeah. And he's younger.
So I mean, there might be a world like 8 years from now where he's opened up a gap of like 10 goals in the World
Yeah.
Cup,
That could be pretty interesting.
which is it's insane.
I'm surprised there isn't more discussion, and maybe I've just missed it, so correct me if I'm wrong.
Are you going to go
here,
to the
PLG.
GOAT thing?
Yes. That there isn't more discussion relative to Mbappe in that regard. That it
Yeah,
isn't like
that's fair.
like to make it in an NFL sense is Messi Brady
yeah.
and
Mbappe
Mbappe is
Patrick
Mahomes.
Patrick
Like
Mahomes.
he's
Yeah.
the guy who's like still going, but like holy smokes, look at what he's already done. Is he going to eventually
that's a fair
usurp
point,
him?
because people aren't really talking about Mbappe being
I hadn't heard it anyway. I'm encouraged to hear that I wasn't just like completely blind
he's
to
definitely
it.
been in the conversation of like he's the best player in the world, or among the top 3 for the past, I don't know, 8 years or so. But yeah, no, you're right. He hasn't really been talked about in that light of I think it's just for the club part of it, he's just got his stats are so much further away from everybody else. And that's why Ronaldo is his comp, is because he's the only one that can compete with that. And so when because you think about it, a World Cup is what, 7, 8 games,
right? And
it happens once every 4 years. So if you're
the percentage of your actual career impact
is not as high, and so we're a yearly basis. You can get those stats and make them further out, but I don't know.
That would be very interesting, because when Messi did come to Arlington the very first time, we were stressing so much about the record, but obviously he was closer to it, at the time. But if Mbappe gets, I will be the guy who is, listen, I don't run a sportscast every single night. I'm not in a sports department. I probably should know this, but it is soccer. Okay, give me some forgiveness here, but I did not know they were that close in World Cup goals.
They're 1-2.
That's
insane. And it's only one away.
That's
so
insane.
I need to look and see. I'm curious if.
So let's just say both of their countries end up in the finals. There's a world where maybe. Or let's say that Mbappe.
Is there a pathway where Argentina and France play each other in the finals?
Yes, that would be the only way that would be the only way they'd play each other. Because I'm looking at it, but I want to see.
That would be amazing.
I want to see if. Ooh.
Yes.
France plays their semifinal game here if they make it there. So what if he breaks?
And it got broke twice in Dallas. Oh, breaking news, everyone!
That would
breaking news as we come on the air.
Breaks the all-time
scoring record that Messi had
at AT&T Stadium
that lasted for a month.
Team USA to knock the Americans out of the tournament.
Yes, exactly. That would be.
It could be France versus the USA in the semi.
In
Arlington.
In Arlington, man, this place would go nuts, berserk. There would be statues created. Wait, what? What'd you say?
Welcome to the Ultimate Dallas Show.
Oh, I did see that. Okay. All right.
Matt
gotcha.
Howardson broke the fourth wall.
Put me in the penalty box.
It's not a fourth wall. It's a half wall.
volunteer as tribute.
He broke the half wall.
Okay.
That's why it's only a half
exactly
wall.
what he did. He broke the half wall. That's pretty good.
But we're tight on time, is what I wasn't.
That's basically
okay.
The
All
point.
right.
But
I thought I said something
point,
improper.
It's not gospel by any point.
It's just it would be insane. Like they would build statues even if we lost. Like just for the fact that we got to the semis.
It would just be insane to me that just the likelihood of it being broken here by Messi, but then happening again in the same tournament by somebody else.
And imagine if Argentina gets knocked out somehow, and France continues on.
Then it's almost a certainty to that in my mind, because he's only one away. If Argentina gets booted from this tournament, I think Mbappe is going to pass him.
Yeah. Call me stupid, call me ignorant, but I was not aware of this factoid until I walked into this room today, and that is fascinating.
PLG is our fountain of soccer knowledge, and he is imparting wisdom upon us all over the course of this month.
I'll take my jersey off right now.
It has been a thing.
It's just a Homer jersey.
It's just a Homer. And you're wearing the women's one too,
is this the women's one?
Yes, because it has the 4 stars on top.
It does?
Because they won the World Cup 4 times.
I thought it looked cool, so I was like, I'm definitely wearing
the only
this
difference
one.
between, I guess, the men's and the women's one is that the men's would have no stars.
No stars.
That's so funny because they were selling them on the USA website, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that one looks good." Had no idea it was for the women's team, and I will proudly admit that on this show. I was like, "Yeah, that one's being sold. All right, I'll take that one." World Cup's coming up.
If you're gonna pick one of the two teams,
that's the one
to support,
I would do.
Actually, that makes sense as well. And they're here in 2 years.
Well. Just in the interest of cleaning this up, the story we were talking about earlier relative to the Mexico fans, that's from a story from The Guardian. 3 people died from suffocation is the official cause of death given here in the story. Thousands of fans crowding Mexico City during the World Cup celebration.
I was like,
yeah.
what?
It was, awful.
So it's kind of like
a 44-year-old man, a
Houston.
19-year-old woman, and a 48-year-old woman. Just wanted to properly cite. That was from a story from The Guardian that we saw this morning when we were looking up this video and marveling at this video because it's an amazing scene.
It's a crazy scene,
and then
but
it's just kind of sobering.
Mike was like, did you hear that someone died? I was like, no.
Also happened.
Yeah,
it's
unbelievable.
very sad.
And also the suffocation part is even worse. Like again, the trampling, that's where my mind went immediately.
Yeah.
But obviously that many people pressed up against each other.
It's reminiscent of like the Houston concert that you're talking about.
Yeah, I can't remember who.
Travis Scott.
Travis Scott. Yeah.
Very similar situation.
Awful.
Yeah.
Awful. Didn't mean to end the segment on a sour note, but I just wanted to at least clean that up from an official
it's
standpoint.
important.
Yeah.
We'll step aside for a moment.